Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Nightcap. Have a drink. Yowza. Yowza, yowza, yowza. Gotta get that blood flowing, you know? Gotta get that. Get pumped. Woo! That treadmill music. What's wrong? You guys don't like the Bloody Knees Club or the Bleeding Knees Club? Whatever it's called. Oh, that's right. We're always here, ready to help your household profit. We're always here, getting it done. So anyways, how's it going, everybody? Oh boy, it's been a week. So just in case everybody doesn't know, just in case people aren't aware, so our YouTube channel is one strike away from deletion, and we can't do anything with it for the next week. I think one more week before we can even post anything on it. So if you're looking for archives of this, like go back to watch it later or whatever, it is not going to be on our regular YouTube page. You have to go to our alternate one or go find it over on Odyssey. I've been doing backups there because our days on YouTube are probably numbered, to be straight up with you. And we're not even that crazy. We're not even that spicy. It's just like, just fucking blows. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get into the night. So today I had an interesting day. All sorts of wild stuff happened to me today. Had to get an oil change. Found out that the people that changed the oil did not put the cap back on. So I end up driving to run errands, and then just smoke just starts pouring out of my hood. So I had to go back to Walmart. But when I went back to the place to get my oil change, there was these dudes like wandering the parking lot, giving out their demos. Got it right here. J 9mm to some. Oh yeah, they're out there looking for people to give them money, basically, because what they do is they come up to you, they give you the thing, and they say, hey, we're accepting donations. Anything would help. And I was like, you know, wanted to be a nice guy. I was like, listen, man, I don't got any cash. I don't have anything like that handy. And he's like, oh, don't worry, we take card. He pulls out his cell phone. He's got a little credit card reader on his cell phone. I just start laughing at him. I'm just like, dude, I'm not giving you my fucking credit card. I don't know who you are. What about Cash App, man? You Venmo? I said, not today, brother. I said, hey, listen, man, I'll take your demo. I'll listen to it. If I like it, I will spread the link around. That's about as good as I can do, buddy. It's about as good as I can do. And I was like, is that a deal, or do I need to give you this back? He's like, nah, man, you keep it. But he was visibly upset. Visibly upset that I did not allow a stranger in a Walmart parking lot get a hold of my credit card. Wild people. Wild. I mean, I can understand you going around asking for cash. I've seen people do that, especially when you're down south. Like, there's a lot of, like, you know, aspiring hip-hop artists. A lot of times that's what they do. They just literally roam around Walmart parking lots handing out their demos. I've seen this probably, how long have I lived here? I've lived here off and on for like 10 years, let's say, give or take. And I've seen probably like 10 to 15 people doing that, or groups of people rather, because they don't just come over one. It's like a whole group of brothers, a whole group of dudes coming over, and you're just like, oh shit, I'm about to get demoed. But yeah, I found his Facebook page. There isn't a whole lot here, but we'll take a peek at it. You know, give him a little free advertisement to start our night. We're going to be looking at some Facebook stuff today. We're going to be looking at some Instagram. Prophet sent me an Instagram page. So yeah. Hagbert says, walk around New York City. It's all day fucking long. I know. Yeah. Yeah. When you live in a city, a metropolitan area, every corner, there's somebody trying to get you to donate or give them $1. Here's the demo. Buy my painting. You like macrame? And then that's not even the homeless people. And then you got the homeless people being like, hey man, I just want to buy a sandwich, brother. I just need a sandwich. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were actually calling rye sandwiches. Which, by the way, salutes. Going tonight, going classic. A little bullet rye. Bullet Bourbon's pretty good. I actually like their rye. It's a solid, reasonably priced rye. That's usually pretty safe bet. Anyway, let's check out J 9mm. Also goes by Daggett. Can't see his face there, so let's look at this. So this is definitely the dude. This is the suspect. J9 still blazing, and that's actually right there on his demo. Still blazing. Hagbert says homeless dudes are at least sometimes will sell books or vinyl. That's true. Yeah, if they get stuff. I didn't really come across that very often. Most of the time, most of the homeless guys I came into contact with was when I was in Boston and Anchorage, Alaska. Boston, Massachusetts, and Anchorage, Alaska. And all the time you felt like they were trying to get you into a secluded area to rob you. So they're always like slowly backing into an alley while they tell you a story. Like there was one crazy homeless dude who was like all about, basically described to me the plot of Neon Genesis Evangelion, the anime, and then was selling it off like it was his story while trying to get me to come into like a dark alley with like 10 other dudes. He's like, yeah, man, I got all my drawings. Come check out my drawings. I was like, okay, buddy. I'll see you later. I work down the street. I'm sure I'll see you again. But yeah, here we go. So he's still blazing too. What a prince. What a king. What a king, as we like to say. Now, there is one video. So this video is from March 29th of this year. And I guess this is the proof in the pudding. It says live in Texas. Dude just donated us $300 for our CDs. Support. 100%. So let's check out this video. I'm curious.
You gotta,
This your man J9. Got Joseph Rain, Revelation.
Revelation on the
We out
block.
here grinding, man. We in Texas. Man right here from Cali, man. Real shit. This man just gave us all $100 a piece. He just gave us $100 a piece donated for the CDs, man. Real shit, man. Real nigga.
Hey, you gotta, it's all about supporting your people, bruh. You feel me? I don't know these niggas,
Real
you
shit.
feel me? I don't know what they been through.
Listen, in all reality, to keep it 100%, if like a bunch of like young dudes came up to me and I was a man of means, like I had lots of disposable income, I would probably do shit like this. Because it makes me, that's how I get off. That's what I gotta do to come. Okay? Prophet says, so basically the real life Gutta Man. Yeah. Gutta Man is a pretty dead on impression. It's a pretty dead on impression of a certain like subculture of people. Rappers.
I see them out here hustling the right way, you
Real
feel
shit.
me? Promoting they shit, trying to get on, you feel me? I respect that.
Already,
you
bro.
feel me? For real.
Appreciate it.
Hey, what?
Man, nigga shit, man.
Where you at, G?
Support your black people, dog. Man just gave all us $100 a piece, dog.
Classic. That is, they are totally in a Walmart parking lot. They know where their hunting grounds are. They know where their people be at. It's me and these other dudes. We're all at the Walmart. We're all getting those self-checkout prices.
Real shit.
Well, hey, you know, I guess if something like that happened to me, if like some just random nice person gave me $300, I might go back to that tap. I might go back to that well. He's like, there's something about Walmart. It's magic. It's magic. Prophet says these dudes are excited about half a shift's pay at Hannaford. Yeah, they're very excited about it. It's the life of the starving artist, sir. They got merchandise. Okay, so it looks like they used to do a lot more stuff. So, well, you know, well, this would be around pandemic time. Old footage in Texas, checking in my hotel room. So there must be a spot in Texas where they are welcome. They're invited to. Maybe they're treated like performers, treated like princes, like kings, rapper gods. So Frank in Texas donates $100 each. Gave us Bill, not Cosby, lost footage from Texas 2018. So what? What happened?
Yeah, we live at Killeen Mall. J9. Black. Y'all know what it is.
Chilling, man.
Hey, let him know, man. My man
Frank just supported us, man.
Hey, look what Frank just did for us, bro. Look what Frank just did for us, man. Frank, say what's up, man.
What's up to y'all?
Hey,
Tell him where you from,
where you
man.
from, brother?
Selma, Alabama Rose.
Where are we at now, G?
Texas called A-Town stand up.
Okay, we in Texas
boy.
now. You seen this right here first.
Go to YouTube.
Frank just gave us, how much he gave us?
A bill, man.
A bill. You seen it first.
Not a Cosby. For the love.
So is this what this poor bastard, when he like came up to me in the parking lot? When he came up to to me in the parking lot and he hands me this, was he thinking like $100? Pretty good deal. Big Paul says they're in Texas, so it'd be a Piggly Wiggly. We got Piggly Wigglies around here. Oh shit, Big Paul with the first Ninja Guinea. One Ninja Guinea. Yeah, Frank from Alabama. That dude rocks. Dude's flush with cash. I hope his girlfriend is okay that he did that, because he definitely took that from her bank account. All right. There is one more thing we could check out. There's a song here. I can't find any music videos. J9mm rapper. I don't think they have music videos. They have this one song that came out in 2009. And then there's like a recommended video from 13 years ago. J9 and Cassano throw us in the city. I don't even know what that means, dude. I'm like a young virgin being walked into a precarious situation. All right, let's check this out. So this is from 13 years ago. This is when J9mm was a young buck coming up in the world. This is before he was hanging out in fucking Walmart parking lots, coming up to me, asking me for money, asking me for my credit card information. Real slick. Okay, I gotta be real with you. I don't know if this is an original song or if this is actually a song. When it comes to hip hop, I have like boomer brain. I am not very well versed in hip hop. So they could be singing along to a song that everybody knows very well. Everybody likes to sing and dance and get down at the club to this song. I would not know this song. Anything basically post 2009, I don't know. Is this serious? Is this going to be like this for... Oh, this is the whole video. This is the whole video. Bold move. Bold move.
What you wanna do? AK 4x32. Let me know what you want to come to. In my life, why you nigga eyes on me? Pump deal like what she won't put your hand on eyes, beat. Live my life in the fast lane.
Well, I don't know why they haven't made it yet. He's he's almost as good as those Beantown players we were listening to the other night. That's right, Hagbird. Well, so this is an actual song. They uploaded this. This is the only song that's on the J9mm YouTube page. Let's get a taste. Let's get a taste. I'm not saying we're staying here. Let's get a taste. Let's do the man right. I took Still Blazing. I took this and I did not give a charitable contribution. So, to make it right, we'll listen to a little bit of his song. Bust this guy wide open. Oh yeah.
Unlike those entertainment. Yeah. J9's going down like this. Yeah. All the sexy ladies report to the dance floor. Yeah. Immediately.
I like that. I like this call to arms. All you sassy ladies, hit it to the dance floor. Oh hell yeah. Ernest P. Whirl.
Let's go. Take your clothes off. baby, get nasty. Spread your legs wide while I eat that rabbit. I hope it's clean, I know, cause I ain't finna have it. I beat that pussy from the back, I smack that ass, grab it. Man, I take it on through the man, I take it on through the take it on through the bust it open, bust it open, bust it open, bust it open, bust it open.
So this guy really loves pussy. This guy really loves eating pussy and smelling ass. He loves it. And he's trying to share that joy with all of us.
Bust it open, get nasty, girl, get nasty, girl. Take your clothes off, baby, get nasty. Use a jazzy band broad and you look classy. With a lot of ass, what you talking money? I brought a lot of cash, like Soulja Slim. I paid for it, you ain't got an ass. Like Mystical, baby, shake it fast. Now drop it low. Take it down through the, dig it down. Yeah, I'm all bro. Yeah, that is certain. I get it licking on the pussy, have your ass squirting. Got your legs steady shaking like your booty vibrating. Cheeks clapping.
You know, I gotta say though, if he had a better producer, this just sounds like the vast majority of hip hop songs I've heard in my life. He could stand right next to my man 2 Chainz. Him and that Bees in the Trap lady. They could all do a collab together. Hottest remix of Busted Open.
Like your hands glandulating, bust it open, bust it open, bust it open, yeah. Take your clothes off, baby, get nasty. Spread your legs wide while I eat that rabbit. I hope it's clean now, no, cause I ain't finna have it. I beat that pussy from the back, I smack that ass, grab it. Man, I take it on through the, man, I take it on through the, take it on.
Whatever. I respect the hustle to a certain degree. I can understand out there trying to make it. Obviously, making recordings in probably his bedroom. Really just going out there and trying to do his thing. Hagbard says, I haven't heard a lyricist of this caliber since Mark Sandman departed this plane of reality. Oh, Hagbard, dude. You're always fucking... You're a funny dude. You should be doing this. You should be hosting fucking Nightcap. Straight up. All right. And then Prophets shot me over this... shot me over some videos and stuff. Why does this song remind me of Sister Maria Filomena? Because back in the day when we were kids, when I was a child being taught by her, when she was a new young nun. Say that 5 times fast. I think everybody probably had a thing for her because, like, you know, everything becomes relative in life, you know? All us young Catholic boys fetishizing nuns. Oh, shameful behavior. But first, let's check out Edgewood Lizzie. Now, as I've had this kind of broken down for me, described for me, long live Sammy Thug Life. This is a guy that is currently in prison. Him and his boys have a TikTok accounts. They have Instagram accounts. And they're basically running a business inside of the jail. Like, as you can see with some of these pictures, that dude's in jail. And he's just kind of dressed like a regular dude. I don't even understand how this is a reality. Like, how does this even happen? And you got some real hardcore look the other way guards if this stuff's going on, right? Motherfucker eating barbecue. He's got a bunch of little Debbie snacks. What is going on? I got a business See, it seems like, though, because Prophet had shared with me some pictures that are already gone. I think they must delete their videos and their pictures occasionally. You know, don't want to be too obvious now. I don't know how the hell he found this though, because this is not exactly a huge account. My man Prophet hooked into the deep web. Like August 7th. This is just from a few days ago. out there doing the claw hands. I don't know. I mean, I'm very unfamiliar with what it's actually like to be in prison. So do you just get to wear whatever the fuck you want? Prof says they leverage over guards or are paying them. Probably leverage. Probably. Or they could be paying them. I mean, if you're able to get this kind of thing going inside of a prison, I assume you probably have some funds. Looks like it's at some kind of degree. Man's a scholar. Entrepreneur. Smoking a blunt. Wow. Living better lives than we are. But this was it's a little video here. I guess this is probably from the Instagram. He's not saying anything. He's just saying like, oh, I'm going to stab somebody. I'm going to stab somebody. I put the sound on, but it's like there's like a giant fan or something on behind him. Like, so wild. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it, everybody. Dude straight up has nicer clothes than me. Prof said, this is very unorthodox for prison. Street clothes, cell phones, fast food. This is a group of dudes that scare the guards. That's probably, you gotta be right. I mean, look, this dude's out in general population, with a bag of fucking dank and a joint, smoking it out there. Like, what the fuck is going on? Somebody call somebody. Jesus Christ. If only this guy had videos. I want to see all of his. I want to see a vlog. The guy's like very young too. Not a looks like he's what, like maybe 20 years old. Jesus Christ, getting that Chinese food, getting that buffet style. Shit's crazy. Oh, well, at least he's wearing a mask, though. At least he's being safe out there. Out there in the walls of the prison. It's crazy. That's wild. That's wild as shit. Prof says, I think he has a TikTok. Let's see. We'll try to find it. Why not? We be wilding out tonight, boys. Looks like there aren't any great matches for your search. All right, well. TikTok. Make your day TikTok. I don't want to log in because I don't have an account. I refuse. Edgewood Lizzie. He's got 1 follower. No content. But he does have, and that is, I'm pretty sure this is that same dude. Let's look at a picture. I'll show you a picture. That's his profile. This is his profile pic. Can you make it bigger? No? Open image in new tab? Can't make it bigger. Okay. Looks like him. Color scheme wise, if I had to guess, it would. I mean, that's the only one that matches directly. But it does not seem like he's got any hot content. He's like, I don't get TikTok. I think it's stupid. I wonder if there's other stuff. Let's see if there's just prison. If we just looked up prison, what it would say. Prison meals. So this guy, prison meals. So there's a guy. Cooking with a convict. Oh, okay. He's a con that cooks. Okay. All right. Calm down, everybody. Prisons and corrections. Prisoner vids. I know nothing about TikTok. Don't really want to get involved with TikTok, but I think I'm going to have to for NIGHTCAP. I think we're going to have to dive in at some point. We're going to end up at TikTok. Occasionally we check out TikTok, random TikTok vids that I catch off of like Twitter. I don't watch a lot of TikTok myself. I do like a good cringe compilation. A lot of that stuff comes from TikTok, but All right. Yeah, I can't find anything. Nothing on TikTok right now. But that's an interesting thing, and I'm gonna keep up with that dude. Maybe we'll check back with him later, at a later date. See if he's got any of that thick freakness, any of that hot stuff. But let's talk about the awful dystopia that we're all headed towards. Let's see, what is it? Where am I looking for? I think it's this one. Is it this one? Let's see. Okay, so this is a news segment out of Australia. Australia going crazy with their COVID stuff. And it is so bizarre. It is like straight out of a dystopian sci-fi novel. The behavior of like the government and the media and all the crazy stuff they've been going on. And usually, you know, on NIGHTCAP, I don't like harp on this stuff. I get inundated with this shit plenty other times on our channel and Zoobox. There's plenty of other opportunities to hear about this. But I just was so taken aback by how fucking crazy some of this shit is getting over there. Like truly, actually, kind of like truly a little scary. Let's see what this news segment has to say.
It's those doing the wrong thing driving our record case numbers. Among the most concerning cases, a COVID patient who's tonight on the run from a hotspot. Police and health authorities have issued an urgent appeal.
Anthony Karam knows he's COVID positive when he steps into this public lift. Already breaking so many rules, he doesn't bother to cover his mouth as he sneezes and splutters. The 27-year-old is still infectious but has gone missing from his Wentworth Point apartment. A warrant now issued for his arrest.
This 27-year-old chap who apparently has...
This is like, seriously. This is science fiction dystopia. It's coming. It's already here, apparently. That's insane. This guy's got COVID, and they've issued a warrant for his arrest because he left his apartment.
Has expressed the view that he doesn't...
And this is on top of all this other stuff they've been doing. They've been building what they call these health hotels. And when people test positive, some people, they escort them with the help of the police to these health hotels.
Doesn't care less whether he spreads the virus is one example of the worst of the worst.
There's little sympathy for anyone ignoring the health orders. Even this group of teenagers caught partying after dark at the bottom of the North Bondi Cliff.
Holy shit. See, I didn't really watch this whole thing before. I didn't even know that they were going to get into this. So they're out arresting teenagers that are outside, having a few fucking beers by the water, by the ocean. Arresting them. It's not like they're giving them a citation, sending them home. Even that would be kind of ridiculous. But holy shit.
Cliffs. Herded to higher ground by Polaire's spotlight and speaker, the 8 boys were placed in handcuffs and left to explain a $1,000 fine to mum.
600
handcuffs and $1,000 fine. $1,000 fine.
And 81 penalty infringement notices issued in the last 24 hours. More than 400 of those notices were again for people being outside of their home without a reasonable excuse.
Sideline Sharks player Josh Dugan denies lying to police when he was found a long way from Sydney. The 31-year-old stopped at 11:30 last...
Yeah, this guy. The cops showed up to his house and put him in a paddy wagon and took him to like a health hotel. This dude. Caught partying after dark. Where's Toe Cutter when you need him? I know.
Night in Lithgow, where he allegedly told officers he was moving to the area and feeding animals before admitting to visiting a friend. He and a passenger turned back to Sydney, only to be pulled over a second time, travelling in the wrong...
Yeah, because they'll just pull you over in Australia and ask you like where you live, where you're going. Do you have like your passport, your COVID passport thing that they have a little QR scanner? There was a viral video, and I didn't think to save it. It's a guy being questioned about why he's not wearing a mask inside of his car. Inside of his car. Like he's just like sitting parked on a street and a cop comes and starts harassing him about why he doesn't have a mask on in his car when he's by himself. It is that fucking nutty over there.
Direction. The NRL is investigating and criminal charges could be laid. It's getting harder and harder to hide if you're doing the wrong thing, especially in the construction industry. A crackdown following on from the recent shutdown. Workers sent home if their paperwork isn't in check.
It is a struggle, but it's it's just what has to be done. Like, nobody likes telling people to go home. They've all got families to feed.
Our cameras rolling on
Yeah,
another
who cares,
random
right?
blitz in Marsden Park.
Authorising me under the Public Health Act.
Inspectors have asked these.
Look at these little fucking quislings going up to people trying to make a fucking living. Guys out in the hot fucking Australian sun and during the summertime wearing fucking masks. And they're like, I'm here with the health department, sir. Jesus Christ.
Tradesmen to show proof of their QR check-in as well as identification and vaccination records. One of the men here is from Campsie and he doesn't have his documentation, so he's being sent.
Papers, please. How can you it's so baffling to me how these people just go along with this. Like even this reporter, completely uncritical. Oh, we're just doing a news report. We're just talking about this guy doesn't have his correct paperwork, so we're just gonna send him home. These are the same type of bleeding heart assholes that tell you that asking people to have an ID to vote is a form of civil rights abuse.
Home. He may lose a chunk of his pay too if officers follow through with a fine. Tiffany Genders.
So even if he has it or not, because he didn't have it on him, he could face a fine. Fucking, that's why there was some crazy footage, and of course it's not repeated, or not repeated, but reported in the American and press at all. There was a lot of crazy protests that have been going on in Australia and France. It was the other day, the dude just fucking, people just were bowing through police. There's a guy on horseback saying they can't arrest us all as they charge. It was kind of crazy. Did she just call him a chunk? Fat shaming racist, Hagberg says. I agree. Take this woman's job. Take her job. How could she do this? This man is clearly a minority, indigenous to some degree.
9 News.
For breaking news, turn.
Fucking wild, dude. And before that, Prophet said that's like the whole world in 9 months. And you're not wrong, buddy. Let me see. There's a story. Well, let's stick with Australia. Then we'll head to the UK and then the United States. But I got this other video at Australia. Where is it? Here it is. So, with these lockdowns and stuff, some people do still are obligated to work, or they'll make you go to work. That's like anybody that's in service industry stuff, work at grocery stores, or if you're a truck driver. So apparently, the truck drivers in Australia have been chatting, and they might do a mass protest, a mass walkout where they just don't go to work and they refuse to drive their trucks. And this is what this guy's going to be talking about. Prophet says, probably going to lose the job I just got as soon as they mandate the vax. Yeah, that's probably coming. I assume. And then they're going to kick it up to the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court has already intimated that they would say that a business will doing that. Prophet says, weighing standing up against it or lying to my wife about it just to provide. I hear you. Yeah, shit's insane. And there is no protection. There's nothing. Nobody's coming to save you. That's the worst part. Even our, I don't know. It's definitely, we're at an inflection point. We are living through something people are going to be reading about in 100 years in a book. Hopefully. Maybe. Actually, maybe they won't be reading about it. They'll read a paragraph. Some people were bad. They didn't get the vax. All right, here we go.
Good morning, Australia. As you see, I just fucking woke up. We've been talking to everyone around the world. Everyone around Australia. It's on. The truckies are doing it. We need you and everyone else to support, to watch this video, hand it up, and let everyone in Australia know that the truckies are going to shut down the country.
Prophet says one man would have never done this to us. Take a guess. I don't know. Hold on. DJ Trump. Not really. Trump would definitely do it. He would have done it.
What that means is...
I have no idea. I have no idea, Dan.
Get what you can for the next week or two. Load your fridge, freezers. The truckies are coming and they're going to pull this country down. And
Well, Ron Paul definitely would have. Ron Paul or Rand Paul definitely would not have done this.
We're all going to do it together and remove the shit government. The vets are in. The truckies are in. I'm in. I'm willing to go to jail to save my country and my children. If you want to do this, you've got to do it together as one. A new video has just been sent out about Fauci admitting that they got money from China to do the research fund, which I'll put up on my TikTok page for everyone to go have a look at. They knew it was a poison. So every government who bought into Pfizer, it even says on the contract that we've been sending out to everyone, they know it's poison. Do you want to poison the rest of your family? Ignore this message. If you don't want to poison your family and you're a smart person with a heart and a lot of common sense, you'll pass this on. Right.
So, yeah. So things are escalating over in Australia. I mean, a lot of that has to do with just like the government's response. Like, you know damn well, if they weren't rounding people up and arresting them and being as draconian as they are, more people would go along with it. It's like a self-inflicted wound. It is this bizarre fucking authoritarian grab. Like, it's so fucking crazy. So this one's from the United States. This is like a part of a little news segment I caught today.
Just moments ago.
Which this is real insane. So this is the United States. This is a little doesn't really freak me out in the sense that like I expect it to happen, but apparently in South Florida, doctors are walking out because they don't want to provide care to people that are unvaccinated. They're refusing care by walking out of their job. Those people should have their fucking license taken away. But let's see what they say. I'm sure they'll be given a platform to speak on MSNBC.
More than 75 doctors staged a walkout to protest the number of COVID patients coming to the hospitals who have not been vaccinated. The thing, let's bring in Kerry Sanders, because Kerry, you're in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, at this doctor's walkout. Kerry, and I know the area very well. What Americans don't understand is for every unvaccinated person that's filling up an ICU bed, that means with the hospitals jammed, somebody with a heart attack, and I've known somebody in this position, goes there, has trouble getting in, can't get treatment, can't get a bed.
Citation needed. If you're having a heart attack and you go to the fucking emergency room, do you really think they're going to refuse you care regardless of what's going on? Regardless. But there's also, these numbers are kind of inflated. They're going a little crazy. It is not actually this intense in most places.
It is a nightmare for the doctors. It is a nightmare for the nurses. And to the doctors' point of view, it's worse yet for sick people that want help from them.
That is truly reflective of the frustration that you see behind me. These doctors have gathered, some coming off their shifts to come out here, gathering to try to tell people, please, first of all, ignore the nonsense and the absurdities that you're hearing people say at public meetings and recognize the value of what a vaccine will do. 85% of the ICU beds in Florida are full. Now, there are some hospitals that have no space in the ICU. They've turned cafeterias, they've turned conference centers over to beds to house patients because they are so overwhelmed. Dr. J.T. Snarsky is joining us here. She's one of the doctors.
Yes. Now we got our hot doc to feed us the new propaganda. These people should have their fucking medical license taken away, and they should never be allowed to practice medicine ever again. Ever again. Ever again. You're not a philosopher. That's not your job as a doctor. As Hagbert says, first, do no harm. It's part of the oath they take.
First of all, you hear that woman at the school board saying the absurdity. How does that make you feel, and how do you combat it?
And they always do this too. They will cite the craziest fucking people. People with schizophrenia that get up in these meetings, these town hall meetings and stuff, and say wild shit. And then they'll be like, well, that's who we're up against. No, you're not, dude. I wonder how this is going to work out when they come to terms with the idea that, like, most people, a large portion of people that are unvaccinated are minorities or people of color. Like, they don't trust vaccines for whatever, or they just don't feel compelled to do it. I don't know why. I mean, it could be with like the 6 months before the vaccine came out, where every high profile politician and media pundit was like, well, I'm not going to take the Trump vaccine. You know, maybe that has put a little weird message in their brain. I don't know. I don't know what people's reasons are, and I don't particularly care either, because it's not material to your job as a doctor. Look, she's even got, it says it right here on her scrubs. It says Doctor Hotness. Prophet says, for all the talk of these bustling ICUs, I've never seen actually any footage of it. All I see is nurses on TikTok. Exactly. It's almost like it's not really falling apart. There could be people. I mean, most ICUs generally operate, from what I'm told, and I have a few family members that are in the medical field that work in ICUs. And they say it's like, yeah, you know, like you're probably always operating at 60 to 70%. Always. Always. You always are. So now that they're saying, oh, it's like 80, 85%, like they're doing that to scare you, because a lot of people, they probably go in for like a couple days and then they're out. You know, obviously there's some cases that go beyond that require more attention, but it's not the vast majority of people suffering from COVID. At least people that without comorbidities as well. You know, a lot of overweight people, just like in the early days of the pandemic or early days of COVID, you know, they had the hardest time with it. Elderly people and overweight people. Hagbert says, how many of these doctors are plastic surgeons or non-cardio, pulmonary, or emergency? That's a good point, actually, because, you know, obviously this is like kind of a show, right? How many of these people are actually in the ICU that actually work with this stuff every day? Probably not all of them. I can't imagine. It's probably not even a majority of them. It's probably like 20% of them.
It's incredibly frustrating because we know vaccines are safe and effective, and it's people who go out and talk against them that really go against physicians and medicine and science, and it's not the message we want to get across to people. Vaccines are safe, and we need to get our communities vaccinated.
Hey, thanks so much for watching.
Okay, well, that's it. Well, FDA approval of Pfizer vaccine could spur more vaccine mandates. Oh, that's interesting. Let's check this out. Let's check it out. Why not?
According to our poll, 69% of respondents said they'd...
When did this video get posted? It must have been today, right? Because didn't that happen today? Yeah, the 23rd. So let's see. Which is probably true, right? Because now that they have the Pfizer vaccine is FDA approved, oh, now they're just like, well, now there's no excuses. Now everybody should get it. And then you got to get the third one. Now you got to get the booster. I've already seen people on Twitter. There's a lot of... follow a lot of like people that are involved in film or write about film, a lot of betas, a lot of state bootlicker people, and they're all excited. They're like, I just scheduled my booster shot, just scheduled my third dose of the vax.
already gotten the vaccine. Only 13% said they definitely wouldn't get the vaccine. I'm not a big math guy, but that leaves about 15% who are somewhat open. So how big of a dent does that FDA approval have to make, is there potential for impact amid that 15%?
I think it's very important. And now people can realize that this vaccine has received the full in-depth review that the FDA would put forward for any other kind of vaccine or drug. And
I love that not only does like the mainstream media, not only does the cathedral, if you will, they're all pro-pharma, but they've convinced the world, they've convinced like mainstream public that like suddenly Big Pharma, they're totally trustworthy. Everything they do is above board, and they wouldn't do anything to hurt you. There's no other motive. There's no other motive for it. Like, what could be the motive? It's just, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, like, people get into like population control, they get into all these kind of things, but it's really, to me, it's just about that fucking dollar. It's just about that money. If you have a fucking government mandated vaccine that you produce, that the government guarantees by paying for it all, because all this stuff is free, well, there you go. There's your fucking answer. It's not even that mysterious. I will look at this article in a second.
Basically has come out on the other end with the full approval of the FDA and showing that it can save thousands and thousands of lives. So I feel very confident that some people will now have that willingness to go forward. We'll still have vaccine holdouts, and that's where I think vaccine mandates still play a very important role. I'm a very big supporter of vaccine mandates, not because I want to tell somebody what to do with their body, but when their body is infectious to others in the community, then...
So are people that are vaccinated. See, this is the thing that they don't tell you. Like, if you are vaccinated, you are still a carrier, right? They say even that you might even be more of a carrier because of this process called shedding. Now, I'm not an expert. I implore you, go listen to people that are much smarter than me. I have no education in this. I'm just, learning just like everybody else, I suppose. And I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. I just kind of have to go a little bit, use kind of practical application about some of this stuff and just be a pragmatist and just kind of find my way through it. Because I'm not like a person that says like, oh, vaccines are evil and you should never get any vaccine or anything like that. No, I don't. I think this is a special circumstance. I think they're like the motivation to make everybody get a vaccine is a lot different in this circumstance than it is in others. And now they have like this crisis that they're going to take advantage of, and they're going to push it on everybody. And it's so fucking crazy. It's so crazy because it's just like all of the people, especially even progressives, even the nutty left wing and nutty right wing people, they're all pro-vax. In this particular circumstance, I suppose I should clarify. In this particular circumstance, with this in particular, most vaccines, take upwards of 10 years to kind of get through it, like get through just the process. And we are in human testing right now. Like, we don't know what the long-term effects of these things are going to be. And I'm not like a fearmonger. I'm not even saying that I'm particularly concerned about it in terms of like how it's going to affect people. I would never give it to a child, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I just like on principle, like, especially with like the survival rate of COVID, like you should not be forcing people to do this kind of thing. It's like you don't force people to get flu shots. You don't tell fat people that they can't see the doctor because they chose to eat Big Macs all their life. Like, you wouldn't do that. And this is like, there's tons of things you could do for your health that are avoidable, that you could do to protect other people from illness and stuff like that, that is not considered in this way. It's not thought of like this.
And that is a community issue. That's not just about them.
So does this FDA approval give companies more solid grounds to enact those mandates?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you as a public health professional for the last 46 years, I think it does. I think it's very compelling.
Very compelling. You will take this fucking thing. I've been working with the government for 46 years, and let me tell you what, dude, you're going to fucking take it.
In fact, says, yes, now use the power that you have there to try to bring, a major dent into this really horrible situation.
Wow. Wild stuff, everybody. All right, so Prophet shot me over an article. Looks like it's from the Washington Post. Let's see here. Can I look at this? I don't want to subscribe. I do not want to subscribe. Well, I don't know if I can actually look at this article. I can't look at it, Prophet. I don't have a subscription to the Washington Post, and it's behind a paywall. But the headline is, It's time to say we're done with vaccine refusers. Let's see if I can find it somewhere else. Time to say it. Come on. Don't shut me out, Ray. Don't shut me out. Let's try to shut off the... No, I can't. I can't look at it. I can't look at it. But I'm assuming that it is about just kind of convincing the general public. I don't know how you read it, honestly. I might have like I don't know. A lot of times those sites, they give you like 4 or 5 articles to read for free. Maybe I've read other Washington Post articles this month, and I met my limit. That could be it. But it seems like the thrust of it is like trying to convince the general public to also kind of act like those doctors that we got a preview of their worldview. And then you're seeing that already. You're seeing that in New York City. You see that in New Jersey. It's starting to creep everywhere, every major metropolitan area. Even down where I live. So I live in South Carolina, mostly in Georgia though. So Atlanta. And Atlanta, right now, most venues, like, so if you want to go to a concert, you can do whatever, like, you either need a vaccination card to show at the door with your ID, or you have to have a negative COVID test from the past 72 hours before you go to the show. So you have to bring proof. You have to bring like a printout of your negative results with your ID. Yeah, papers, please. It's crazy, and especially the New York City thing was crazy because some journalists called like local businesses and stuff and asked if there was like a provision or if there was like something, if people could be excused for medical reasons, etc. And they said no, because they're fine. They have to, like, they're already in a spot where they don't have enough like staff to work these places, like restaurants and stuff. A lot of people have not really been running back to work, and they're having to fire people or face a fine. I've seen some stuff out of France right before all like these crazy kind of protests and riots that started happening over the past week. They like police going into cafes and stuff and asking people that are sitting there having fucking coffee to show them their vaccination status. Fucking insane. Prophet says he's in it talking about convincing. He's talking about total expulsion from society. Washington Post op-ed about creating modern lepers. But if I don't let a drag queen throat fuck his boss led into my son, I'm Hitler. Yeah, well, that's true, right? That's true. That's who you are now. No, but that's a great way to put it, though. Yeah, a class of lepers. It's the perfect way to put it. You're going to be excised from society. You won't be able to enjoy society. They are setting up something to like just... It's going to have like such an intense negative reaction. I don't know, though. People are so compliant. People are such pushovers. Okay, so this is here's a little video from like a morning show out of the UK. And this is somebody, they have an expert on talking about like what are red flags? Red flags. Red flags, like, is my son becoming an alt-right member? Is my son becoming a Hitler guy? One of these Hitler guys you've heard of? These boomers? Let's see. Let's see what it says. Let's see what they have to say.
Can parents look out for maybe language that they use, their young sons might be using,
Telltale
or
signs.
behaviour that they might have?
Yes, they can.
Look how solemn that dude was. Hold on. Look how solemn he is. Look how solemn. He's like, telltale signs, mate. Can you believe it? Can you believe it, bruv?
Might have.
Yes, they can. So there are lots of bits of language.
And this lady, you know, if you're going to want to like find somebody that's plugged into the internet that knows what they're talking about, it's obviously a lady like this. A regular old Isabella junk.
Language that might be red flags referring to people as normies or as triggered. Normies is the word incels use for people outside their community. Triggered.
She says normies is the term that incels use for people outside of their community. So if you're a young man and you were to use the word normie, refer to somebody as a normie, that would be a red flag. No, that's just not just like internet slang of the modern era, of the modern day. It'll change in a fucking 6 months, but no, that means you're a hate monger. Probably you're probably on one of these hacker sites, 4chan, 8chans, looking at beheading videos and watching goats get fucked.
Based, cucked, describing being red-pilled or black-pilled, which are words they use to describe.
Like, you're saying all of the cool words. All of the cool words. I use the term, Hagbert says, I use the term normie. Yeah, so do I. It's just like a fucking normal thing. You say like, oh yeah, you're kind of a normie. I'm kind of a normie. I refer to myself as like a half normie. Prophet says, oh shit, I remember this lady from the last chapter of the Turner Diaries. She was on a lamppost though. Ah, damn.
Being infiltrated into the ideology. Yeah. And it's worth saying as well that they see this as a kind of conduit to other forms of extremism. It isn't completely separate.
Don't read that, Sean. I've read a great deal of it. I've never read the whole thing in total. It's been banned from everywhere though. It's hard to get a hold of right now. Even on torrent sites it was hard to get a hold of, but I did manage to get an audiobook.
From far white nationalist, white supremacist movements, they actually really see it as a slipway. So parents might see a combination of perhaps also racism creeping in as well. The incel community is a very racist community. This is a racist ideology. And of course, white supremacist is a deeply misogynistic ideology.
Yeah.
Parent.
I wish I had the whole segment. They didn't post it on Twitter though. So I have no idea what the fuck this is from. Hashtag this morning. Maybe we can find it. We can find the whole thing. Let's see here. I wish when people would post like clips of videos, they would post a fucking link to the whole thing. I'm not really into this whole like fucking like out of context thing because it happens so often. Oh shit, I mean we could just, there's so many videos that are just about this shit. Prophet says, I need to not drink before nightcap, but fuck, it's requisite. It is, sir. This is our time. The night is for the boys. The night is for the boys. Let me see here. It's called This Morning, The Concerning Rise of the Incel Movement. This morning. What are incels? Oh, I do. I have the whole thing. This is a 13-minute segment. Oh boy. We're in it. We're in it, folks. I love this kind of, this is perfect nightcap material. Now we're in our groove. Now we hit it. It only took us an hour to get there, but we're there.
On to the big story last week and into the weekend, the horrific events which took place in Keyham in Plymouth on Thursday have been confirmed as Britain's deadliest mass shooting in over 10 years. The gunman, called Jake Davidson, claimed the lives of 5 victims, including his own mother and a 3-year-old girl, before turning
When the fuck did this happen? This is from the other day. I didn't even hear about this.
Gun on himself.
Yeah, and 2 other victims remain in hospital. Davison has since been linked to a community known as incels. This is a group of men who identify as involuntary celibates.
It's just a version of like kind of modern hysteria. Like we've done this as a culture. We do it like every 10 years where we like look for something. We need to label it. We need to put it in a box so that we can conceptualize it. We can understand it. And then we know how to deal with it. And it never really works. You know, back in the 90s, it was like video games and rock music. It was Marilyn Manson causing people to become satanic and shoot up schools. And now it's this. Now it's this. Now it's message boards. It's incel culture. It's trad life people. It's whatever. Because there's a lot of spicy stuff on the internet, and if you're already predisposed to like having mental illness or whatever, I assume that stuff is going to affect you negatively. I would implore people, go check out the latest episode of Zoobox Goes to the Internet. The first episode is kind of a offshoot of Zoobox Goes to the Movies. I did with Mr. Prophet, and we talked about Chris Chan. We talked about this character, Chris Chan, and it's a vertical slice. It's an insight to the id of that side of the internet and how parts of it operate. It's kind of interesting, and we had an interesting conversation, so I say go check it out. Hagbert says, playing Aussies, gonna summon Randbot. Randbot. Jeez. Randbot. Did he get banned from the kill stream? I can't remember. I know they kicked him off for a while.
And they blame women for their failure to find a partner. The group has been connected to a number of violent acts around the world. And you might not have even heard of incels. So we're joined now by
When they say like some of them have been connected to violent incidents around the world, we're talking like 5 people. You know how many people are involved in those communities? Tens of thousands, probably a few 100,000 in each little category, right? And, you're going to have crazies, just like you have crazies in anything. But they're just so desperate to just be able to label it, just to be able to do something. And it's become sort of this cultural movement for actually just a minority of people that are very loud.
Journalist Laura Bates, who infiltrated this community, and also criminologist Professor David Wilson. Good morning to you both. Laura, I do think there are a lot of people who said, what's incel? Who are these people? What is this organisation? And you were researching a book, firstly, when you came across these people.
Yes, and really the thing that's shocking is that there is able to be this big hate group that is dedicated to extremist hatred of a group, women in this case, that has spilled into offline violence around the world again and again. There have been multiple massacres explicitly in its name, and yet most people have never even heard of it. No. The reason for that is that when these massacres happen, we don't describe them as terrorism, and we don't talk about these individuals as having been radicalised, because the group they're attacking are...
It is 100% considered terrorism. 100%. I don't know if you've seen the news, ma'am. Maybe you're too online. Maybe you've been in too deep.
Women, we don't tend to see that as out of the ordinary.
In fact, very quickly...
Why, Laura, do they hate women?
So these are men particularly...
Hold on, I gotta hear that again. Why, oh why, Laura, do they hate women?
Name, and yet most people have never even heard of it. No. The reason for that is that when these massacres happen, we don't describe them as terrorism.
I like it. Oh, shit.
And we don't talk about these individuals as having been radicalised, because the group they're attacking are women. We don't tend to see that as out of the ordinary.
In fact, very quickly...
Why, Laura, do they hate women?
I love his gait. Look at this guy. He is in his element. He's got his lady here in a muumuu. Is that what they call it? A muumuu? And he's just like, he's got this laid back, why would they do this to us, Laura? Why do they hate the ladies?
So these are men, particularly incels, who describe themselves as involuntary celibates. In other words, they're men who aren't having sex and would like to be. They've created an entire worldview that sees women as utterly dehumanised sex objects, purely there for their pleasure. And so they blame women for the fact that they're not getting what they see as deserved sex.
Why is that the fault of a woman and not their fault? Why can't they look in a mirror at themselves and see the way they physically look, maybe the way mentally they are? Why is it a woman's fault?
Why do crazy people not have self-awareness? I don't know. Kind of a mystery. Not to say that all incels are crazy, but there's some of them definitely a little unhinged. And then it becomes gamified. So when you go on like these 4chan or 8chan boards and stuff, it's been gamified to the degree that like everybody's trying to one up the last person that says something extreme, so they try to like be even more extreme, be even more edgy. And there's definitely some people that obviously take it too far, take it seriously. But I think most people online, a lot of it is steeped in irony. And it's a lot of it's jokes and memes and just kind of dumb bullshit. It does spill out, though. But that does it in everything, right? In every aspect of life, every subculture has that. Do you think like hip-hop culture has ever contributed to somebody fucking shooting somebody in the street? or selling drugs or doing whatever, do you think that's a problem? Would we ever talk about that as if it's a fucking huge global epidemic? No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't.
Well, exactly. I mean, as if any other extremist ideology, it doesn't make any sense. It is entirely hate-fueled, but it comes down to the dehumanization of women. So the idea that they think women are only there to have sex with them and therefore are denying them sex if they don't do it. And I think the answer is violence.
How did you infiltrate this group? Because you say it is all men, so you had to pretend to be a man, I'm assuming. How did...
She had the fucking, like, those glasses, those Karl Marx, the Marx Brothers, the Coke bottle glasses and the fake mustache. She would sit in Skype chats.
How difficult was it for you to be involved
Discords.
with those forums?
Well, you had to learn the language and the kind of pseudo-scientific backstory that these groups have kind of created to back up their twisted worldview. There are some of these groups where you have to answer a kind of interview questions to get in, to gain access. And there are a lot of things that you need to learn. You know, for example, if you use the word women on these forums, that would be an instant red flag. They don't talk about women. They use the word foid, which is their way of saying female humanoid, which shows you how little they think of women as human beings.
Yeah, but Professor, Laura is talking there about their innate hatred of women, blaming women in all things. Why then, in Davison's case,
How could they do this to
does he shoot a child? Does he shoot men as well as women?
Oh, it's almost like it's not has anything to do with that. You know, some people are just crazy. Chemical imbalance, mistreated, trauma. Tons of things that go into that, right? The idea, like, they want this simplistic answer. They want this very narrow fucking idea of who, of the personality, the psychological profile of a person that would do horrible things. And if you go look into the history of, like, you know, psychotherapy and profiling in terms of the FBI when they started doing it in the 80s and stuff like that, there's not a lot of consistency, and those guys will tell you that. Like, those, I've read a lot of books about this stuff for whatever reason. Also, check out that show, was it Night Hunter? Is it Mindhunter on Netflix. That's actually loosely based on real stuff. But they'll tell you that there's generally not much of a pattern in terms of the types of people that do things. Everybody kind of has their own pathology, if you will. And you can build a profile up to a certain point, but there's always this origination. There's always a different origination. So it's hard to, like, actually track. That's why there's so many serial killers get away with being serial killers.
Firstly, can I say Laura's work is wonderful, and she really opened up some territory that I think has been important to consider much more seriously than that has been hitherto.
This guy owns a lot of jackets. I don't know if I can trust. I mean, this guy is he's paranoid. He's like, no matter what the weather, I am ready. I am ready at all times, no matter what. This is not a casual person.
You can bizarrely get female incels that are called femcells. And of course, the people who self-identify as incels not only have an extreme misogyny based against their hatred of women, but they also want to attack some men who are seen as being more desirable than they are. They call them chads in the kind of language that Laura was starting to talk about. So
yeah, like the joke language, the ironic language that people speak on the internet. Imagine being like, they call each other chads and like getting chills and being like, oh my God, chads and Stacy's.
Their targets can also be men. I think the key thing that we've got to start working out, and you asked the question, Eamon, that there's a sense of entitlement that they feel. It's not just that they see themselves as poor me because of some kind of genetic determinism. They're too short, they're too tall, they're too overweight. They're not seen as being physically attractive. They don't just think of themselves as poor me's. They see themselves, ironically, as entitled to...
They're literally like lonely, probably somewhere on the spectrum, young men most of the time. Most of the time. That's what you're going to find. I think, like, you know, honestly, and I've talked about this way a long time ago. I did some episodes about MGTOWs, men going their own way. like guys that have been married, gone through bad divorces, decided to just do away with women. We're just not going to have anything to do with women. Those guys get into the message boards with the incels, and they really, really fuck some of those kids up. Really poison the well. Because they think they're talking to an authority, like somebody who's lived through something, a man. And it's the same thing like when we watch videos about like pickup culture guys, this like ultra pseudo-alpha aggressive way of like, you know, going after women or being in a relationship. And it's like so much of it is a smokescreen, so much of it is bullshit, and so much of it is posturing, you know? And it's the same thing there. But the problem with the incels is, like, a lot of them are autistic or on the spectrum somewhere, and they just believe it. They just take it as rote, and they just kind of go from there. And that's where their worldview is developed from. It's not healthy. Because I've seen a lot of guys, like even the guys that call themselves MGTOW that aren't really MGTOWs, that are probably more incels. They have something wrong with them, and they're making vlogs about how much they love Big John. If you don't know who Big John is, Big John was a big figure in the MGTOW world for a while. And he's been kind of deleted mostly off the internet. You can still find him on the Internet Archive, which is where there was a night a long time ago I watched a bunch of Big John videos.
In the words of the patron saint of incels, Elliot Rodger, get laid. And the fact that they're not getting laid, they put at the doors of women, and men who are getting laid are also therefore their targets.
Who is Elliot Rodger? Because the Rodger, I'm going to do a Rodger, is mentioned often on these forums.
Yes, Elliot Rodger was a young man who in 2014 in Santa Barbara, California, massacred 6 people and injured another 14.
Yeah, he was a crazy person. A crazy mama's boy. Had a lot of problems. A lot of issues dating. And obviously was on the spectrum of some level. And they always do this. They always bring up Elliot Rodger and be like, oh, he had so much support. Like most at this point, and even like shortly afterwards, a lot of his memeing, a lot of his jokes in terms of like supporting Elliot Rodger, wanting to do an Elliot Rodger. But there was like a group of people, a small kind of minority in that community that definitely was like very pro Elliot Rodger. And they always bring up Elliot Rodger. Always.
Explicitly in an incel massacre. He talked about murdering sluts. He talked about taking revenge on women for the fact that he hadn't had sex, that he was a virgin.
Well, listening to the professor, Laura, you infiltrating their ranks, then they're finding out you are a woman. You are a woman that pretended to be one of them. What sort? I mean, that must invoke fury from them.
Yes, so they've been looking for me since. There are men in these groups now posting pictures of themselves with weapons saying, which one of you is Laura Bates? I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to find you. They've been trying to hack my email account, sending rape and death threats, threatening my family.
Well, I want to hear from both of you.
Prophet says, I have a response to this idea that's too long for chat. Basically, when you kill a bunch of stuff in a small frame of time, you get a bloodlust and begin to enjoy the killing, and it gamifies it. That's all I'll say for now, but these people have obviously never experienced bloodlust. Yeah, no, I would agree. I would agree with that, yeah. And I think because of the nature of the message boards and the way that stuff goes, it turns into like kind of a virtual thing. It becomes detached from reality. It's like an abstract thing. It's an abstraction. And definitely some people will be inspired by that, for sure. But it's never the majority. It's always just one or two. So I guess the question is like, do you shut down these communities that are mostly there for like support and shit posting and joking around? Do you shut them down because one or two of them might be crazy? That's the question.
You know, you first of all, Laura, then the professor. Who are these incels? I mean, we know what they have in common, but who are they? What backgrounds are they from? Who typically would they be?
Typically, I'd say we're talking about educated white men of a range of ages. It's so normal to dismiss these guys and say we're talking about a handful of losers in their mum's basements. That's not the case. It's a big community, significant, numbering in the hundreds of thousands. Let me give you one good example of this. A man who ran an incel website, who wrote an article called How to Psych Yourself Up to Feel Entitled to Rape, in which he wrote, let's be clear, feminism is the problem, rape is the answer. That man was later unmasked as a 37-year-old accountant and congressional candidate in Virginia.
Wow. And was he charged with anything? Was he...
To my
punished
knowledge,
for that?
he's very much still out and kicking. He didn't become a congressional member.
And
however.
David, in your...
Well, because if it's in the United States, we have something called free speech. You can say odious shit. Well, free speech to, I guess, a degree, slowly slipping away. But I guess he would be kind of an example of what I'm talking about. These kind of instigators, these older guys that get in there. But I don't think it's probably not as it's probably more tongue-in-cheek as it is represented. Not to say that I would ever, like myself, would I ever write something like that, even as a joke? Probably not. Probably not. I tend to think like everything can be funny. Type of person that really believes in the power of humor to deconstruct and deter things, but I don't know. No. Hagbert says it was a satirical article. I think, yeah, because isn't it the guy from, what's the name of the site? I think I'm pretty sure I know what she's referencing. And I thought it was a satirical article myself. What's his name? Isn't it like Paul something or other? Did they say his name?
In your opinion, how many incels are there in Britain?
Well, Laura used the figure 100,000. That's probably more akin to what's going on in North America, particularly Canada and the United States. In this country, we're probably looking at tens of thousands. Although the websites and the various...
And they're all potential shooters. Because that's like kind of like what the aim of this is to fearmonger and to make you terrified of awkward young men. It's really what the aim is for. Because even if you're not part of one of these communities, like as we're going to find out as we watched that clip earlier, right? Like you're going to find out that a lot of these people are like we all use these kinds of terms. If you're of a certain age or if you're online, if you have a Twitter account, you may use these terms. It's proliferated into the larger id of the internet. Everybody uses these terms. They're not identifiers, really. So you're going to get a bunch of young, awkward guys caught up in something and they don't even understand it, and now their parents are going to be questioning them about stuff. Although, silver lining, parents talking to their kids, never a bad thing. But to come in with a preconceived notion about what you think your kid is doing based on them saying things like normie or red-pilled or whatever is not a recipe to bring them closer to each other.
Platforms that host these kinds of extreme misogyny, there may
Paul's me. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it.
Be many more people using or clicking onto those websites than the core group that will use them regularly. But if we think about 10,000, that would be a good starting point.
And 10,000 what? 10,000 oddballs? 10,000 terrorists? How would you classify them?
Exactly. See, that's the thing. 10,000 oddballs, 10,000 terrorists. Oh, I mean, like, that's the game. And I don't even know if these people have any kind of agenda or if they're just like kind of just so boomers. They're just boomer headed. They're like, what is all this craziness? What is all this wild stuff that's going on? I don't like there's a generation that just hasn't grappled with like the psychological molding that has been going on since the internet became kind of mainstream and since everybody has had access to it. Like it has changed the psychological profile of a lot of people. Myself probably included, right? I probably wouldn't be the same person I am today. I probably wouldn't have the same sense of humor. Well, maybe I would. I don't know. But without the internet.
I absolutely would classify them as terrorism. I mean...
So he's just saying anybody that considers themselves potentially as an incel should be classified as a terrorist. As a terrorist. Things that they don't understand. Things that they clearly do not have the most abundant amount of access to. Even this woman who's saying, I infiltrated. Well, what does that mean? And how long did you spend? And who did you talk to? And what did you witness?
What is terrorism in terms of our legislation? It's the intentional use of violence to intimidate the public. And that's what they want to do. The get out of jail free clause, as it were, in terms of our legislation, is that this is intentional use of violence to intimidate that doesn't have a religious or a race or a political, either far right or far left ideology behind it. But the Devon and Cornwall police's rush to say this wasn't terrorism seems to me to have been very short-sighted indeed, because at the end of the day, Eamon, Ruth, we are dealing with people who, because of their extreme misogyny, are targeting a specific group of people, women. This is an extreme form of hatred against women, and we have to start naming it for what it is. And frankly, it is.
So they're saying that the incels are basically a political group. They have political aims. Because to be labeled a terrorist, if you just go look at the basic definition of terrorism, it is the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. So they're saying that they're a political movement. Or what this guy's kind of saying is that the definition is too specific. It needs to be broadened out so that everybody that has any kind of wrong think can be labeled a terrorist. Now, I don't agree with incels, right? Like, I'm not an incel myself. I'm married. I have a kid. I don't agree with a lot of their worldview. I don't agree with a lot of the things they have to say. But I don't think most of them are terrorists. I don't. I think most of them are like confused, weird guys. And we have decided as a culture to just, fuck those people. Why reach out to them? Why try to help them? Fuck them. Just fuck them. You have a crisis of people trying to fucking find their way in the new modern paradigm through modernity, through the internet, through all these things. And there's no respite for them most of the time in their lives. And they find it on the internet. And they find a community. And a lot of it is bullshit and joking and irony and blah, blah, blah. Just like most things on the internet are. But then you have people like this, a criminologist, an investigative journalist, that are going to come out here and they're going to say that, no, they should all be labeled terrorists. They're terrorists.
Is terrorism.
The Devon and Cornwall police, actually, David, say the decision that this incident was not a terrorist incident was made by the National Counter-Terrorism Network following a referral from Devon and Cornwall police. So they're saying that...
He's like, oh, they're probably a bunch of incels, too. Fuck those guys.
Came from above them. Laura, what about grooming? I mean, are they grooming younger men with this ideology and hatred for women?
Absolutely. These are groups very deliberately wanting to recruit more people to their cause. They're targeting boys as young as 11. They don't go straight in at that stage with incel forums and ideology. They find them on bodybuilding websites. They find them on gaming live streams and gaming strategy chat rooms. And they use things like funny anti-feminist memes, jokes, viral YouTube videos. They use this kind of...
So they're saying, like, well, can memes be used as a recruitment tool? Probably. Are incels organized enough to do that? I don't know. Also, can you recruit people to the inceldom? Like, if you recruit somebody to inceldom, are they really incels? Really? I don't know.
Veil of banter and jokes, but they describe that as, in their own words, adding cherry flavour to children's medicine. And in my work in schools with young people, you do hear an increasing number of young people coming out with some of these complete myths and very misogynistic misconceptions.
You can spot that when
you
you're
can see it, yes.
So, David, this is radicalisation then, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And you know, in the United States, or particularly in Canada, the Canadians already recognize this as a form of terrorism. And what we need to do is start having proper discussions with our young people in the way that Laura was explaining in terms of the work that she does in schools, we need to start talking to young men about what it means to be male. We need to start having a proper discussion about masculinity.
Oh, well, is that even allowed? Is that even legal? In fact, you could say that's a large part of the incels' bag, is how they feel that culture treats the concept of male and being a man.
And break this idea that's part of the incel, or those people who self-identify as incels, this link between their belief in their entitlement and therefore their power as they see it over women. That's the discussion that needs to be taking place in every home where there are young men who might be interested in this kind of extreme misogyny.
Laura, what happened in Plymouth shocked and sickened all of us. But for you, had you got an insight into this? Had you a feeling something like this was going to happen, could have happened?
Well, sadly, yes. You know, it isn't the first time. It was only 6 days after a man in Tokyo stabbed 10 people on a train because he saw women looking happy and wanted to kill them. It's not the first time in the UK even that a young man has attempted to murder. Ben Moynihan stabbed 3 different women because he said he hated women and wanted to punish them because he was a virgin. The only reason this is shocking to other people is because we haven't joined those dots, because we haven't described these cases as terrorism. And what I'm seeing now on the incel forums that I had previously been on is men celebrating this act, describing him as a hero, hoping that the victims suffered, and crucially talking about carrying out more acts, more massacres. And you think, if this had been another form of extremism, if this had been an ISIS massacre, for example, would those websites still be up and easily accessible today?
What about
the Taliban and ISIS for a long time were on Twitter? Well, Taliban's still on Twitter. So, yes.
parents? You mentioned there, you know, that they're finding these young boys on gaming sites, and can parents look out for maybe language?
I wonder how they feel about the grooming gangs that exist in the UK. I wonder how they feel about those kinds of things. Do you think that's a form of radicalization? Do you think those people are radical? Do you think that's abuse? No. We can't talk about that. Let's talk about the 17-year-old, 90-pound little white nerdy kids. Let's talk about them. The greatest threat to national security, to the globe, ever. Oh, the influence they have. So much influence, so much cultural influence.
Language that they use, their young sons might be using,
Telltale
or
signs.
behaviour that they might have.
Yes, they can. So there are lots of bits of language that might be red flags, referring to people as normies or as triggered. Normies is the word incels use for people outside their community. Triggered, based, cucked, describing being red-pilled or black-pilled, which are words they use to describe being infiltrated into the ideology. Yeah. And it's worth saying as well that they see this as a kind of conduit to other forms of extremism. It isn't completely separate from far-right, white nationalist, white supremacist movements. They actually really see it as a slipway. So parents might see a combination of perhaps also racism creeping in as well. The incel community is a very racist community. This is a racist ideology. And of course, white supremacist is a deeply misogynistic ideology.
Yeah. Just finally, Laura, how frightened...
And that's another key term, the white supremacist thing, right? They inject that into everything. So any group that could ever be troublesome at all, well, obviously they have ties to white supremacy. It's kind of tiresome, a little bit.
Are you for your own safety?
Well, I think that I'd be more frightened if I was in the US. A member of one of these extremist communities in the US was recently upset with a judge who he claimed was a feminist expletive and turned up at a house described as a delivery driver and opened fire. I think there is danger.
Oh, she's talking about one of the judges that was involved with the Jeffrey Epstein case. That's who she's talking about, and that's who she's identifying as a incel. Yeah, I don't know, lady. To take that on face value might be foolhardy. Prophet says, imagine conquering a third of the world and having the grandest empire the world has ever known, and your great-grandchildren are this.
And I think that we have to take this seriously. But even saying that, I know there'll be resistance. People saying, oh, stop making a fuss, you're overreacting. Part of the reason for that is because we don't call these attacks terrorism and we don't describe these groups as extremists. And if we did, we'd be able to deal with them more effectively.
Well, Laura Bates, stay safe. Thank you very much indeed
safe,
for your
Stay
work.
safe.
All so disgusting, so shocking. Professor David Wilson, appreciate your take on things. Thank you
Appreciate
very
you,
much.
brother. Appreciate you, bruv. Well, would we call that enlightening? Not really. I don't know. Well, speaking of the Chads, if you guys remember...
What's up, y'all? My name's...
Oh, hold on there, lady. Stop talking. I didn't give you permission yet. The Fresh and Fit Boys. Remember a couple weeks ago, we spent a night watching mostly clips from, I don't know, what do you call them? Dating experts, how to get, like, you know, whatever you call them. I don't even know what you call them. Prophet says, she would look a lot smarter and more capable with this fat nut on her face. Indeed. But the Fresh and Fit guys, we had a night where we kind of made fun of them a little bit, talked about some of where they were coming from. So this is somebody that actually kind of exposed what it's like to work with them behind the scenes, and they lost a lot of subs and stuff as a result of it, which I was happy to, kind of like made me happy, because those guys are douchebags in the technical term of douchebag. Real douchebags. So we'll check this out, what this lady has to say. I've seen parts of this. I have not seen the whole thing. But I figured it'd be good to have a follow-up, and it kind of nicely dovetails into what we've just been discussing. So we'll go with that.
What's up, y'all? My name's Anna Quinn. I just wanted to take a minute to make a quick video about the whole Fresh and Fit situation, just give you guys an update. And also, I never really made a video to explain what happened and share the truth and the facts on my own page, so I want to make this quick.
Oh, don't you guys love E-drama? E-drama has become my soap opera. Just following the E-drama, dude. So you know, when I watch those guys, I subscribe to them, because you never know. There might be something else to comment on in the future. And this came across my way.
I want to make it clear so you have all the evidence in front of you. And I just want to share what's going on, because this is someone who claims to be a male self-improvement podcast, the top, the best, and they have over 400,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I didn't know until I looked into.
Love Gurus, I think they're called. Love Gurus.
And they are creating a culture of hateful, mean, I'm not going to continue commenting, but just they're creating a disgusting culture of men who treat women like crap. And so I'm taking a stand and I'm sharing, because
Hagbert says her nails are distracting. How can I listen to this bitch? About to go down to the pound, get myself another bitch.
I can. So what happened, I will be providing evidence. Let me scooch over so when I edit it, it can be here. Basically, Myron reached out to me. He is half of Fresh and Fit. I think he's fresh, but I don't think he's fresh. I think his name is Fresh on the podcast. But he reached out to me and wanted to do a podcast, or wanted me to collaborate with him for his show. At the time, I don't know what his following is now, but he had like 10,000 followers on Instagram. I have had at that time around like 42,000, 40,000, something like that. And so I didn't respond to the DM, to be honest. Then one of my friends, who I'm gonna leave anonymous right now, just because I haven't discussed with him whether or not I can share his identity, told me, hey, one of my boys reached out to you, wants to film some content with you. He has a really popular channel, so you should do it. So I actually responded to the DM and I was like, hey, you know, what's up? He said, let's do a collab. I was like, okay, cool.
Because all these people, they all interconnect with each other. Like, oh, well, what's your the sub count? Oh, that's great. I'll be on your show. It's not about like general or organic interest in like, oh, well, we could do something cool. This is why Zoobox will never make it big, because I have zero interest in doing these kinds of things.
I was actually planning a trip to Miami, so I told him, like, this is what I'm going to be in Miami. I wasn't going to pay to come out to be on his show, and I hadn't even looked into his show. I just kind of went off of the friend's recommendation. So Myron and I went back and forth. I'm just going to pull up the text so I don't say anything that's not true. He asked me when the soonest I was going to be out there is. I told him that I was planning on being there Friday. He said he wasn't going to be available then, and then he asked me a relationship question. For some reason, I did not see that or that part of the message, or I was busy or whatever. So I said, do you want to make it happen, or should I plan for next week? And he said it'd have to be next week. So we're just discussing logistics. I answered his question, said, I'm not dating anyone right now. Dated someone a couple months last year, but before that I was single, and I love talking on that topic. He said, okay, cool, I'm up for that.
She's a fitness person. Maybe she's like a lifestyle and fitness person. Well, a double whammy.
Not going to do anything platonic with you, just being honest. And I thought he was reaching out for a collaboration because we're both well known in the fitness industry. And you know, my Instagram following is larger than his. So at the time, I still didn't know he had a 400, you know, him and his partner have a $400,000 subscriber YouTube page. But I have been approached about collaborations before, and so since I was going to be out there, I was down to do it. So when he said, I'm not trying to do anything platonic with you, it was completely left field for me because I was only thinking we were going to do some kind of fitness related content collab. And he said, no problem, I collab directly with girls I date, no pressure though. And I was like, so if we aren't dating, you don't want to collab? Because he's never even asked me on a date at this point. So I was like, he said, no, don't mean to be an a-hole, but we have...
Egbert says, no, he was reaching out for pussy. I think that's what's going to happen, yeah. Well, she reached out to him, and he responded with the need for pussy.
Plenty of women in Miami. And I said, well, same, we have plenty of men here in California, so why would I fly to Miami to date someone who I know nothing about? And he said, simple, attractive women are common, high-value men are not. I'm not going to comment on that yet. No hard feelings, though. I said, you haven't proven to me that you're a high-value man. And actually, I know quite a few high-value men. I'm not just an attractive woman. I'm an entrepreneur with a 6-figure business and a high-profile assets. I'm nothing but common. I meant to say.
She's one of these, what do you call them, queens, right? She's got her shit together, you know? I don't know if I would be reaching out for the lay. There's a lot of business going on here. A lot of stuff here. A lot of preemptive modifications.
I'm anything but common. No hard feelings, and a smiley face. So then I screenshotted our conversation, blocked out his name, and I posted on my story because I was shocked at this point that someone would use their business, their show, to try to get women, and they think that that would work. And I was also shocked that he said that attractive women are common and high value men are not, when it's just like he dismissed me as an attractive woman but not a high value man, or not a high value woman. And you know,
well, these guys, like, their perception of what a high value woman is very suspect, because most of the time they complain about like picking up hoes and them being hoes. Like, that's their whole brand, is like, yeah, I got this like really hot stripper chick and she was a hoe. Can't have that, man. Guess I gotta pump and dump. Gotta just pump and go. Like, that's their whole thing. It's like, it's that simplistic. It's that rudimentary.
I don't know anything about this guy, so for him to tell me that he's this high value man when you're having to use your show to get women, high value men don't have to use their show and clout to get women, for the record.
That's true. You know, call a spade a spade. A real dude that's got something to offer does not need fame and fortune. Just gotta be a good dude, solid, probably has a job. That always helps.
Anyway, so I posted anonymously and I said, high value men don't talk the way that you did. I have 75 people on my story. I posted a poll and I was like, am I tripping or is this crazy? I forget exactly what I said, but I had so many people voting, oh my gosh, like this is insane. And so I said, I have 75.
I don't understand this about these people where they're just like, they take polls. It's like Kyle Kalinske. You know, Kyle Kalinske, Secular Talk. He's like, well, the polling says this. Yeah, Americans think this. But when you look at the polls that they're looking at, it's like completely disingenuous and skewed in a weird way to make people not really understand the question. I'm not saying that she's doing that specifically, but the appeal to the audience like thinks, like, you know, if you have a big platform and there's going to be a lot of people involved in it, it's not a good indicator of anything. I think you could have just said straight up, like, oh, this guy's a douchebag. I don't like him. And that would be good enough. That would be good enough.
People on my story who voted, I can't believe what you said. The comments are insane. Not one person has your side or thinks your approach is appropriate. You're tripping. And I was using emoji faces laughing. I said, maybe you should have me on your podcast so I can teach you how to talk to women. And I sent the screenshots. Then he said, responded to the screenshots that I sent and said, I'm just being honest and stand by it. I'm not collaborating with you unless we have sex. You have had sex with a bunch of dudes I know and aren't special. You could have just said no and kept it moving, but you're clearly in your feelings going through.
So this dude is like thirsty for not even sloppy seconds. If he's saying, I know a bunch of dudes that had sex with you and whatever. So he's just like, oh, well, this is a hoe. Might as well get laid. I guess. That's kind of sad in a way, I suppose. Like, you were a desperate man if you were like, oh, well, I know this chick sleeps with a lot of dudes, so I guess I'll make a pass. You know, out there in the world, IRL, pretty normal thing to do, I suppose. I'm trying to think, have I ever really done that? Definitely one time. There's one chick in my life that I knew for sure she was a hoe. And I was just like in a place where I was just like, I'm going for it, guys. I'm going for it. Everybody's like, no, do it. It's like, I don't even care. Don't even care. It's Saturday night. I'm going. I'm going in. But I was not a love guru. I was just a man. I was just a regular dude trying to get laid.
Through all that effort with a poll, etc. Go ahead and screenshot the conversation of Clout Chase. I don't care what 75 Simps said in your story to White Knight. The difference is I say what I want and don't care what you think they do. So at this point, this is where Myron lied and told everyone that I started threatening him.
And she blurted out my name. And then she sent me a DM saying, like, you should probably rethink how you talk to women, blah, 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 trying to shame me and say, like, I can expose you. She's like, I'll expose you. I was like, do it, bitch. Like, go ahead. Like,
I started threatening his business and threatening.
So this is the thing that's the most gross, or like the most like pussified, the most beta thing is that, like, when he presents this story, he decides to present this story on his podcast that he feels the need to embellish. He embellishes the story. Which is the most beta thing you can do. Like, because you're just trying to, like, be in the power position. You're just trying to be the power guy. For no real benefit. Like, there's nothing to benefit. For, like, this could have been a blip on this dude's radar. Like, it's like, okay, whatever, she doesn't want to fuck me, and just go on with your life. Oh, thank you, Prophet. I'll see you later, Prophet. Thank you for the ice cream. Thank you for the lemon. I appreciate it, my dude. See you later, man. Also, get in contact with me about T2. We got to talk about Terminator 2.
To expose him.
Yeah, and she made threats like, "Oh, I'm gonna, like, I'll make you look bad. It'll be bad for your business." I said, "Do it. I'll share. I'll help you." You know what I'm saying?
None of this happened. You can see in the DMs that was just a blatant lie.
I was like, we're gonna smash. She didn't like that. She tried to be like, "Oh, well, that's your asshole move." Okay, you want me to lie to you and then like try to be on this other bullshit?
Another blatant lie from Myron. I defended myself, told him I haven't slept with a bunch of guys. I said that he is a terrible representation of his podcast and his business, and that I would be happy to put him on blast. I told him he has an opportunity to influence men and make a positive impact, and the example he's setting is trash. I pity any woman who falls for this stupid scheme to fly out to see you and sleep with you for a week promo on your YouTube channel. And then he said, all you'll do is cement my reputation, blah, blah, blah. You don't like it, that's not my problem. Unfortunately, I am who I am. I don't have to worry about an image. And that's the end of the conversation. Well, there was like one more response.
No, well, see, that guy, all he worries about is his image. That's his entire brand, is his image. He just thought that this is his image. Like, this is the thing that, like, gets people to like him. It's like coercing people to sleep with him, which is weird, because you would think, like, oh, well, like, what is the point? Like, what is even the value of doing that or going for it in this way? Like, I don't even understand what the fuck the point would be. Like, the dude can probably get laid. You could probably get laid whether he had a podcast or not, right? Like a passively attractive dude, good shape, lives in Miami, probably can go to a club and get laid. Not like some kind of wild, crazy idea. But they like they kind of their audience that they cater to or are kind of those incel guys, or kind of like people that are just like having a hard time connecting with people, finding a girlfriend, whatever. That's like their whole brand. And their advice is just to be an aggressive asshole and never, and just kind of be like, I don't know, like the for lack of a better way to put it, is like just to be inhumane, just to be kind of a prick, the ultimate neg, you know?
And I said, unless you were there, you don't know anything about the men that I've been with. Unfortunately for women everywhere, you are who you say you are, and that's pathetic. And then I blocked him. So a couple things. Byron has been lying to everyone, saying, one, I was threatening to expose him, threatening to ruin his business. Obviously, you can see from the proof that's not true. A lot of his following is under the impression that I was trying to get on his show or asking to be on his show. Again, you can see from the screenshots, that's not the truth. I didn't even know anything about his show, which again, that's a lesson I learned. Don't agree to come on a show unless you've actually researched the show. I was just going off of a mutual friend's recommendation because that's a pretty good friend. But and he felt terrible about it and apologized once he saw. But the reason why I'm speaking about it now, and I wanted to make a video then and explain what was going on, but I decided to just not give any more attention to it. But I'm making a video about it now because I'm getting harassed and bullied daily by his following and by his people. Myron told the guys on the podcast told everyone to put my Instagram handle in their bio or in their little messenger or what. I don't know how YouTube videos work like that.
Stuff. And then she blocked me because she was like, oh, okay, this dude, I can't hurt him.
This is the ultimate beta move. Like this is the ultimate weak ass guy move. And you're gonna see it right here.
And by trying to embarrass him, like,
what's her Instagram again? It goes something like
Anna Quinn Fitness.
Oh,
there you go. Anna Quinn
Oh.
Fitness. Y'all want to roast her? I don't care.
Snap.
She wanted to smoke. Okay. Now you got to deal with that. Now you got to get embarrassed and look stupid and all this other shit.
Someone put her Instagram in the chat.
Can we see her Instagram real quick?
It might have been me.
Oh, damn.
Oh, you want to pull it up?
I would love to see her Instagram. To be honest with you. I don't even want to give her that. I thought they were fresh and fit.
Hey, you know what?
Look at this comment. Why don't women understand that this channel is meant for men? LOL. Okay.
You know, do a privacy complaint. That's what
They put my Instagram on their show so that people could go mess with me, and they told the lies about what they.
Which is kind of like, it is the most bitch move. It's the most like cowardly move of being like, oh, she blocked me. It's like the most beta like high school bullshit. Like, oh, you blocked me. You didn't like what I had to say, so I'm gonna mobilize the fresh and fit force to come after you, to come get you. Not to say that that's the end of the world. Obviously not the end of the world for this woman. But it's just a bitch move. I've been inundated by people on the internet. I got into a tussle with these hashtag support Johnny Depp people. And I didn't even say anything crazy. I made a joke about Amber Heard. And then I ended up in a fucking maelstrom because of what's the actor's name? The guy from Idle Hands and Final Destination. I can't remember his name right now because he's not that important. But that guy retweeted a joke I made about Amber Heard, so I had all these Justice for Johnny people for like a week. And they went and I had to like private my Facebook, my Instagram. They came looking for me on Twitter. They came after me everywhere. They would just look me up and like try to find me and try to expose me and try to act like I was like some sort of psychotic pervert or something. Because I was just like, I don't really care about the goings-ons of two drunk, alcoholic drug addicts. It's just not very interesting to me. And I caught shit for that for like, it was like a couple weeks. It went on for a while.
What they're claiming happened, and that is not the truth. So not only is this guy lying to everyone, but he's claiming to be a male self-improvement expert and the leading show for male self-improvement, but the culture that he is raised.
That's like, see, that's the thing. Like, they market themselves as male self-improvement, like work out, get a good job, do this. But really, when you listen to the show, it's just about getting laid and how to treat women like shit. And I'm not some sort of like, ultra feminist. I'm not all about that. Like, whatever. I'm just saying, like, as a man, I understand the difference. Like, I get the difference, especially like a man with like a fucking wonderful wife and a great like kid and a great life we're building, and these guys just poison the well to such a degree that you're just like, it's hard to sympathize with them at all. Like, they're just internet zeitgeist guys. They just found a moment and a movement, and they've latched onto it. They're grifters. I guess that would be the best way to put it. They come off as grifters.
Raising is gross and disgusting. These are bullies. I get at least 5 messages a day of people telling me I'm a whore, telling me to go kill myself, people commenting on my pregnancy announcement video, telling me I've been sleeping around, just awful comments. And here's the thing. Not a lot of people, only the people close to me know the real situation of what's going on with me and the father of this child. But the truth is, I can't talk about it because I've been threatened. My safety has been threatened. I was threatened, and I've been talking to a lawyer, and I'm not able to discuss the details of that. So right now, I just have to leave it kind of plain and generic, and I'm fine with that. But me receiving all of this harassment and bullying and all of these comments, it's heavy, and I'm tired of it, and I'm not going to keep receiving it without taking a stand for myself. So that's why I'm making this video, because anyone who's following him needs to know the truth. You need to unsubscribe from his channels, because this is not someone who will help a man improve himself. This is someone who will help a man dig himself into a hole and
become an incel. Basically, they're mobilizing incels to a certain degree, because they're like what I was talking about earlier about like the MGTOW guys. It's the same kind of rhetoric. It's the same kind of rhetoric, but they don't present themselves as like MGTOW.
His culture speaks for itself. Look at the comments I've been receiving. This is what he has bred. This is the tribe that he has created.
Let's just look at one of these comments here. You are extremely wicked for trying to play the victim card. You very explicit in defining and collect the benefits of the trip Myron offered you, but when he explicit asked for sex, he is now weird and mean. Ma, you antics will only work on simps, not real G's. Thanks for sharing his story. The manosphere keeps rising and RP is more apparent. Well, you might want to go back to school. It's Toby Smith.
And raised up. And it's disgusting. It's shameful. He should be embarrassed. He should be apologizing that his following and that he has impressed upon these people that this type of behavior is okay. But he's not going to,
because a lot of times like an accusation like this might be bullshit about like, oh, what your audience does is your responsibility. Like I don't agree with that. But these guys specifically, that is their brand. They're trying to build culture, build lifestyle, build ideology, build a worldview. And when they're half retarded viewers, like jump in somebody's DMs or messages or whatever, and they can't even construct coherent sentences, you're like, oh, well, there you go.
Because he's not man enough. So we have a liar, we have a bully, and that's what he's creating. He's creating ignorant bullies who are coming after someone they don't know without knowing all of the facts and the information, and that's why I'm speaking up and speaking out against it. So hopefully this wasn't too long or too boring. I just had to get all the information out. So hopefully y'all will stop watching their dang show and unsubscribe and share this video, because people need to know. And also women who agree to be on this show need to know the truth behind what's going on. And
when I watched some of their videos and I saw all the chicks that were there, I really did not understand why you would do that. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't get why you would subject yourself to that. You got to have some sort of self-respect other than to be put on a panel to be pilloried by two faux chats.
And also, Myron said that people can't come on the show unless they sleep with him. I can't come on the show unless I sleep with him. He said, I only collaborate with women I'm dating. So is he saying he slept with every woman that's been on the show? Because I'm guessing that's probably not the truth, because I kind of doubt that he would actually be able to get all those women, but I'm not gonna. That's just my speculation. So, okay, that's all. Like this video, share it.
Oh, peace. Peace, sister. I don't know. I show that video because I don't like those guys. I really don't. I find them odious. So let me see here. Now we need some real dating advice. We need to learn. So this is
almost every.
They say kill your heroes. Sam Hyde, how to find a red-pilled girlfriend. Okay, let's see what he has to say. How do you find a trad belle? You're a trad Chad. How do you find a trad belle? If there is such a thing. Is there? We'll find out now.
Every single girl I know in my age range has extremely radicalized political views.
Somebody stop me!
Jim Carrey the Mask. Go watch Jim Carrey the Mask if you want to know what a red-pilled woman is actually like. Worked as a line cook for 6 years.
Go watch Jim Carrey the Mask. The Cameron Diaz character. Oh my god.
Years. Should I try electrical apprenticeship? Part of your electrical apprenticeship is building a time machine to go get that 6 years back. Sam, as a 21st century comedian / provocateur, also angel investor, bodybuilder, MMA fighter, and race car driver, do you think there's still a market for edgy / alternative comedy on TV? No, there's definitely not. It's all gone, and it's not coming back for a minute or two. If you're looking for your fix on Hulu, Netflix, Comedy Central,
no, it's gonna be like my son's generation. I have a 4-year-old kid. That is the generation that is gonna bring edginess back into the mainstream. It was the mainstream when I grew up. Watching sketch comedy and stuff, watching Kids in the Hall, the Upright Citizens Brigade. That's what kind of formed my comedy sensibilities. That's on pause right now because you're not allowed to be like that. You're not allowed to be indulgent and edgy and weird and abrasive. Not in any real way. Not in a way that's offensive. Back then, you could be offensive.
Any establishment type place, you're really not going to get it for a minute or two. Maybe something good will sneak by.
American Dad.
It's completely changed. It's completely changed. The paradigm has shifted. You are completely free to build a following. It is a battle. Is that the worst thing in the world? You know, people had to ride a line in Hollywood. There is a point where it's too much. There is a point where you can look at stuff and say, this comedy would be funnier if it was a little cleaner. It does provide you with a boundary. If you're not funny to begin with, then going out and testing people's tolerance for your ability to be politically annoying is not that's not magic comedy button, magic insta comedy. What's your advice for other artists and comedians? You have to build a fan base. You have to do it organically. You have to really try hard not to be whack, not to be too much. You know, if you're leaving a bad taste in the mouths of people that you think are bad, that's one thing. But leaving a bad taste in the mouths of people that you're trying to court over to your fan base, you have to be careful of that. And you got to do this slowly over time, and you have to do it in a workman-like, blue-collar way. You have to do this, 9 to 5, or if you wake up at 4 p.m. like me, you have to do it from 4 to whatever the after midnight equivalent is. Build your skills and be satisfied with small victories. You have to be satisfied with small victories adding up to larger long-term victories. Like you can't expect the fact that your political views are counterculture or whatever to really buy you that many points in terms of like how good your content is. You still have to build it.
And that's like I think what he's saying is actually very accurate, because like, you have somebody like what's his name, Ryan Long. He became like kind of the darling of the right when it came to comedy. When he's doing these very basic, very pedantic, simplistic, like question, response, like man on the street stuff, but like his sketches are often awful because they're the same thing over and over again. There's some funny stuff in there. But doing it the same thing over and over again gets tiresome. It gets old. It just becomes less interesting.
Up. That's why successful propaganda is successful, because even though the Avengers movies or whatever propaganda you're talking about, it's still like you can still zone out and watch it and be entertained. You know what I mean? You have to make stuff that is entertaining. Women Q question. Almost every single girl I know in my age range, I'm 21, has extremely radicalized lefty political views. I usually don't bother getting into political conversations with girls, good idea. But when I start dating someone, I can't help but get frustrated and slowly try to red pill them and show them how some of their beliefs are based on objectively false information.
My brother had a problem with this for a long time. Where he would hook up with girls on like Tinder, and because of his nature, that the people, when you meet people, they're like, oh, what do you like? What kind of music? What kind of movies? What are your politics? That's kind of a normal thing now. And he had a rough go of it. Like he got to sleep with a few girls, but when he would go for the second date, they would be complete pricks. I gotta get him to talk about it on our regular podcast. Let him express the feelings, the frustrations, the stories. There's some good ones.
Is this the right course of action / any advice? No, it's not the right course of action. You just have to find one. If you're, if you're in college, you said you're looking for 21-year-olds. If these are college girls, you're not going to find any red-pilled girls. And if you do find a red-pilled girl, they're going to be completely bonkers.
Women who wear the frilly sundress that reveals a little bit of the bosom, and they post pictures of the food that they cook, and like, I can't wait till I have a man to take care of with this. Those chicks have a gasket loose, universally. You're better off with a rockabilly girl. You're better off with one of those dames.
Cuckoo! Jim Carrey The Mask. Go watch Jim Carrey The Mask if you want to know what a red-pilled woman is actually like. She makes home-cooked meals.
Somebody stop me!
If you find a woman that is easy to deal with and is not, and you listen, stop. You don't bring up politics. You don't bring this up. You don't even talk about this. Just transition it away. I love WALL-E. I love the Pixar movies so much. Have you seen Toy Story? Have you seen all of them? Have you watched all the Toy Story? Have you watched them all at once? That's the thing. Neat tips. 26 male neat. Worked as a line cook for 6 years. Should I try electrical apprenticeship? Any tips? Part of your electrical apprenticeship is building a time machine to go get that 6 years back. I would say yes, you should do the electrical apprenticeship. I am a 22-year-old with about 26K to my name, $26,000 at age 22.
Pretty good.
Kudos to you. Good
Pretty
job.
good.
And I'm an above-average salesperson at a wireless telecom company. So I want to get into cinema as a long dream of mine, and I know how filthy that business can be, especially after hearing your stories. I guess what I'm getting at is how would you recommend a full-time high-performing salesman with money to invest transition to a career in directing or filmmaking? Or with your knowledge of the industry, is filmmaking even worth it anymore? Thanks for your time. I'd love to see you and Nick collab more. Cheers, my lad. At 22, if you haven't already made something, if you haven't already tested the waters as a filmmaker or film director, it's probably not your passion. It's probably just something the grass is greener kind of lifestyle that you imagine.
See, I disagree with this. At 22, if you have not dabbled in filmmaking and you want to be a filmmaker, that's probably not true. A lot of filmmakers that really did not make their bones until they were middle age, actually. But we all do things. We all do shit. This is an extension for me. This is an extension of that. Not to say that my dream is dead. It's not. I understand where he's coming from a certain perspective. Like either you want it or you don't. And you kind of mold your life around like wanting it for a long time, and you make a lot of sacrifices for that. But almost at the same time, when you're 22, and if you haven't, like, you don't have a lot to say about the world when you're 22. There are very rare exceptions. Especially when it comes to filmmakers that are like really good at what they do, really have something to say when they're young. I mean, look at like Orson Welles, right? Orson Welles, 27 years old, makes Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane is a masterpiece. Don't let anybody tell you differently. It's a masterpiece. But not everybody's destined for that. Some people need to work up to that. Doing other things. You can be creative in other ways that facilitate like this later dream that you have. Maybe he'll get into that. I don't know.
Imagine would be good. If you really are going to be a filmmaker, you would know that. You would have had made stuff. You'd have links for me to review in here. People who are good at making film, it's very difficult. It's difficult because it attracts creative type people, and you think, I'm creative, I like films, I liked watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I want to direct films, I could be an artist like Francis Ford Coppola, I could make a film like that, I'm creative, I see things in my head that are like that, but the actual work that you have to do as a filmmaker is like managerial work, and it's like logistics, timetable keeping, it's like the opposite of creative type work. So you're creative, you're attracted to this end product, you think you have what it takes to make it. What you actually need to have to make it is you need to be able to like set up a schedule and follow a schedule and have multiple people following a schedule.
Yeah, so basically what he's advocating for, just what I said. Like, you got to have experience. You have to be a more well-rounded person sometimes before you can even really step up to the plate, because we all have aspirations, we all have dreams, we have all the things we want to do, but you're not capable of doing it. You're not capable of doing what it actually takes to be a filmmaker. And also on top of that, I mean, well, technology has assuaged a lot of that stuff, but like getting people to come help you make a movie, make a short, make whatever, is very difficult. It's very hard. Even if they're your best friends or your wife or whatever, it's very hard to do that. The most difficult thing about being a filmmaker or a director or somebody is like being able to communicate a vision to a crew. Like, that's what he's kind of talking about. You have to be able to communicate those things. What do I want to get out of this? What are our goals? Those things are hard. They're hard to articulate. Not everybody's down for it. And there's lots of other people that are involved when you make a movie or whatever that like can help you facilitate that, but I don't know. I think this is a little short-sighted, honestly. I think like the idea that like, well, you're 22 and you haven't done something that I can look at yet, not necessarily true. It might have been true in his heyday. That might have been something that was more true in like Sam Hyde's like early career or heyday.
This is why I don't make films. It's because I'm like terrible at it. I'm a creative person. I see things in my head. I see amazing. I saw a beautiful picture over there. I just saw a beautiful, a dimly lit woman smoking a cigarette, backlit against the window blinds in Hong Kong as the red sun rises over. Imagine the setup that it would take to create an image like that. I don't have what it takes to do that. So there you go. Don't be a filmmaker. You're not gonna be a filmmaker. You can't. You don't have what it takes. I'm saying that because I don't. And the people that do, the stuff they make is god awful. The people who are really like the best of the best are making Iron Man 70. And I mean that they are the best. They're the people who can imagine something, look at a storyboard, and then make that image happen, which is super difficult. They're doing super difficult, super coordinated, hundreds of people at 5:32 a.m. on a Saturday, and we only have 15 minutes to get this shot. That's not you. That's not me. There's something...
See, I disagree with that. When you say it's not you, I think being a boss, being the center of gravity in an art piece is important. See our tour theory, right? You have to inspire people. You have to be able to do that. Let's like Martin Scorsese, right? Like, could he have accomplished what he accomplished if he didn't have like people behind him? No, of course not. But it all comes from Martin Scorsese. And he's the kind of person that doesn't take no for an answer. You have to be that kind of person. You have to be kind of selfish. Nihilistic in a way. You have to look at what you're doing as the end of the world. Everything that you're doing, every shot, is the end of the world. It is the most important thing that is happening ever. That's what it takes to be a great filmmaker, and you have to inspire people to join you in that thought process.
Something Frank Zappa said about the music industry and about the change in the music industry from this vertical, hierarchical organization to a more horizontal, democratic type of organization. Savvy, tapped in, tuned in, democratic type organization versus this out-of-touch, vertical type organization. And Frank Zappa said that at the in like the 60s and 70s and 80s, at the top of the record industries, there would be these old white guys. Occasionally, these old white guys, they would look at something. They'd look at some weird project, some weird counterculture schizo, and they would go,
well, I took a chance. It went out, and we sold a few million units. All right, I don't know what it is. Let's get a hippie in here. So they hire a hippie. Well, we can trust him. He brought the coffee 4 times on time. Let's give him a real job. Okay, next thing you know, he's got his feet on the desk, and he's saying, well, we can't take a chance on this because it's just simply, that's not what the kids really want, and I know. Even if you don't like or understand what the record is that's coming in the door, The person who is in the executive chair may not be the final arbiter of taste of the entire population.
That's how, like, artistic, unique music and film, I think, used to get made. I think it used to get made because the machine was not as finely tuned, as finely honed. It was a thing where
and I would agree with this. Like, there was a time, mostly in like 70s, 80s, where they didn't really know. There was no algorithm, there was no formula for success. So there was a lot more chances taken. A lot more extreme stuff was put out there, especially if you're like a gore hound, a horror hound. Look at the 70s and 80s. I mean, that shit is all over the place. Not just in quality, but in content and the types of stories that were told.
Idiosyncrasies and out of touchness and peculiarities of old guys, of industry bigwigs or whatever, would occasionally let cool shit slip through. It wasn't this.
But this is another thing that he doesn't really kind of confront here, is that we live in a time, if you are passionate, if you have the wherewithal, you can produce content. You can produce a movie yourself. If you have a good enough phone, there are lenses you can buy. There's tons of stuff. You can go make a movie. Not to say that it would be good, but it is achievable. And we live in a time where people are kind of acclimated to a certain kind of content, like the video we're watching right now, right? The effort is different. The presentation is different. You just need to know your audience, and you need to know the confines of where your work will be presented. That is the most important thing. Understand what, like, the platform that you have. That's the greatest hurdle. That's the greatest thing for a lot of people. Work within your means. You know, Robert Rodriguez, the director of, From Dusk Till Dawn, Desperado, El Mariachi, that's a guy that understands the tool set that he has available to him, or he did, at least when he started out. And specifically speaking about El Mariachi, that's the thing that, vaulted him into fame and into the zeitgeist. And he understood, like, what he had, and he was able to build something from it.
This machine that's turned into this, like, marketing, where the marketing budget is more than the budget to make the movie. You know what I mean? Anyway, opportunity to make cool stuff in film, few and far between. The best people are making garbage, and the people that want to be artistic are making garbage due to lack of skill, not due to avarice or anything like that. But yeah, you're definitely not going to be a director. You should stick with sales, try to build that 26,000, try to grow that into 2.6 million, my guy.
Not, like, I don't know, a little disappointing coming from Sam Hyde, honestly. A little disappointing. Some weak sauce. Some black pilled shit. To end the night, we've been talking a lot about disease. A lot about what is coming. Well, let's watch Telling My Blind Date. I'm HIV positive. How will he react? How will he hot react to this? We're gonna find out together. Just me and you. Just between us guys.
This is the first blind date I've ever been on. I worry about telling people that I'm HIV positive because I fear the rejection. Sometimes men will act scared. Today I'm hoping that I meet someone who is down to earth, open-minded, able to
I'm not scared of my
discriminate against me,
HIV positive
and maybe go on a second date.
status.
I am nervous. I woke up nervous.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, at least he's wearing a mask while he walks up to you. Now he's going to stand next to you with it off. Not theater at all.
Do I feel prepared to tell him? Yes, I am. The last time I went on a date was 3 weeks ago. It was okay, but nothing transpired of it, so here I go again, trying again. My name is Hadiya Brother. I'm 36. I'm a part of the first generation of children born HIV positive. My family was the first African-American family to speak out about what life was like for me living with HIV at that time.
HIV? So she's been HIV since a child. Well, that's awful. That's fucking awful. Imagine the burden of that.
Time. And so I started to have a career doing this, fighting for people's rights. Dating with HIV has been challenging. Certain guys don't understand the science and don't have the knowledge that equips them to be able to be in a safe space with you. And so they let their fear take over. I got a blind date today. Yes, this is the first ever blind date I've ever been on.
I have a feeling it's probably going to be, they're going to present it as okay. Could be very understanding.
Yeah, I am nervous. I woke up nervous. Today I'm hoping that I meet someone who is down to earth, open-minded, able to not discriminate against me.
Honestly, I'm a little bit nervous. You can see maybe hands shaking a little bit. My name is Jake Gallen, 29 years old. This is first blind date I've ever been on.
Do I feel...
So he's 29, she's 36. This guy's masked up. He's fucking ready. He's hot to trot. He's not into disease, but he's into getting laid.
Prepared to tell him? Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
She's a cute girl. She's a cutie patootie.
What's your name?
My name is Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Full of AIDS. Full of HIV.
You're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Let me take this off for a little bit so you can actually see. Just a water for me, please. Thank you.
Water with ice, please? Thank you. Do you drink?
With ice. Oh, wow. A water with ice.
No, I actually just quit drinking. So I definitely went and raged a little too hard for a few years, and my finances got a little crazy. I went in to start an antique store. That same year, I co-founded an app. I got involved in crypto in 2017, and then when the nightclubs closed, I started a podcast called the Guestless Podcast that talks with entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow.
How's your previous dating life been?
I was in a relationship for like 10 years, so I haven't really been in a serious relationship since then.
10 years?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because I thought we were going to get married and have children, and that didn't work out. After that, I kind of hesitated on dating for a while.
Was it weird going out and trying to meet people afterwards?
Just the disclosure part is...
Hold on. I like how they show the drinks. Hold on.
Kind of hesitated on dating for a while.
Was it weird?
That's intentional, because she's got a water. She ordered a water when he ordered a water, but she also has this drink here. This tequila sunrise, maybe.
Going out and trying to meet people afterwards?
Just the disclosure part is hard, and the rejection at that point in time, I didn't want to deal with it. If I meet a guy and he's really cute and I start to like him a lot, I do worry about it because I'm scared of the rejection.
What do you do?
I am an international HIV/AIDS activist and motivational speaker.
Wow.
Yeah.
What got you into that?
Well, I was born
Whoa.
HIV positive.
Whoa. See, that's like being saddled with something like that that's awful. It's awful. It's awful. Decision that was made for you.
But I'm undetectable, which means untransmittable, because I know my status and I'm in treatment and care. Have you met anyone who's HIV positive?
Thinking about it, I don't think so. Or if somebody does, they haven't mentioned anything about it. Because you have to be very brave to open up about that because of the negative stigma that surrounds it. My question is, how does it not affect somebody else that you engage with sexually?
The virus is so low in my body that I can't transmit it through like sex or giving birth or anything like that. Will you excuse me for a minute?
Of course.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay.
How do you think it's going so far?
I think it's going okay.
Just okay?
Yes.
Why not great?
I don't know if there's a connection. I don't know. I can't tell the vibe. I kind of want to ask him, is he surprised that he got hooked up with a black girl?
What'd you get?
A tequila sunrise.
That was one of my favorite.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Favorites. Cheers.
Am I the first African American you ever dated?
No, you're not. Not many, I guess.
Okay. Were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. I'm honestly a pretty open book. I'm really into personalities and attractions.
Oh yeah, of course.
What's your sign?
Uh-oh, here we go. Are you big into astrology?
A little bit.
Okay, I'm the last day of Aquarius.
So you guys are kind of on the cool side of the zodiac signs.
Yes, so it's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Felt like the day went pretty well. Conversation flowed. So she said she was HIV positive. Being born with it kind of gave me a little bit more pause, and then just through her personality,
Give me a little more pause. A little more pause.
kind of suppressed that issue.
I'm gonna come down there and hang out one day.
Yeah, I'm telling you, literally lived right around the corner.
Yes, I was attracted to him. I like his eyes, I like his teeth, and he seems awesome.
I like his eyes and I like his teeth. I don't know if I've ever met somebody that was like, oh, with the teeth, that's the thing.
You want to go out again?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay. Awesome.
Down for round two. So I always like to try things twice. Her mindset to overcome different obstacles, open-mindedness, that's very important to me. She definitely checked off a few of those boxes. This was the common area, and you've never been down here. I'll choose a good spot for us.
All right, awesome. I appreciate how he reacted when I told him I was HIV positive. He was understanding and compassionate and inquisitive.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. Yes, I will be seeing him again.
I'll shoot you a text or we'll talk soon, okay?
All right.
Bye.
Well, there you go, everybody. Oh, my God. Here we go. My mom doesn't approve of my girlfriend and my wife and wife. My girlfriend loves acting like a dog. Let's watch that.
This is Danny. She fell in love with Jack.
We fell for each other straight away.
She asked me to call her Puppy, and I thought it was cute.
But that pet name turned out to have a lot more significance than Jack knew.
What I love about being a dog is that I get to just play around and be praised and be taken care of.
While Jack was happy to get on board the...
What the fuck? Everybody out there is worried about incels, they're worried about whatever, but this is just, oh my God, this is just an expression of who you are.
Puppy play boat. Many onlookers had other opinions about their unusual relationship.
Don't question anything. Don't be worried about your kids in school or anything like that. But like, this is fine. Like, yeah, just she thinks she's a dog. She likes to act like a dog. Where are my feminists at? Where are my women's rights activists at?
Dynamic.
We do get a lot of negative comments online. Take it to the pound and have it euthanized. Jesus Christ, you need therapy.
Can this?
Probably an accurate statement. Just to be real, not every indulgence that you feel should be indulged. We all have weird shit. We all like weird shit, okay? But come on. Come on.
This puppy-loving pair convince the world that what might seem weird to others is perfect for them.
He's just like, hey man, I get to put peanut butter in my balls and asshole and she'll lick it out like a dog? Shit. Good times.
Just 1 minute. Hey, come on in. Come here. How was your walk? You want a treat? Yeah? You want a treat? Okay, I'll get you a treat.
My name's Danny, and I'm a puppy girl just looking for head pats.
My name is Jack, and I'm Danny's owner. You want something sweet?
Here's a Twizzler. Here's a fucking Twizzler bite. She should have to eat dog treats.
Good girl.
And then we'll see how long this lasts.
Puppy play is when somebody acts like a puppy and they can either have an owner or not. You run around in ears and a tail or play with dog toys, and it's just really fun. When I first told Jack that I was into puppy play, it was really small and innocuous. I just said, hey, you should call me Puppy as like a pet name. And once he was fine with that, I kind of just spilled it like, okay, cool, I'm actually into puppy play. I like acting like a puppy. You should buy me a bowl. And
Yeah, it was pretty like spontaneous kind of.
yeah. I've had chronic anxiety and panic attacks since I was a kid. Puppy play is this really great coping skill. When I've had a really stressful day, I can come home.
Would you consider this coping though? I don't know if you would. This is a coping mechanism. Is it coping? You're not really coping when you go to this degree, in my opinion.
Home and just kind of lose myself in that puppy space, and he'll take care of me.
I've never dated anyone that's been into puppy play before. She's definitely the first. Right, sit. Good girl. Stay. Okay, get it. Good girl. It makes her happy, and just seeing her get all playful and we can be silly, that just, you know, it's been a really good experience. Good girl.
For me,
Just
dressing up is a big
delicious.
part of puppy play. So this is all my puppy stuff. This is my first collar that I ever bought. It's my favorite one still. And this was my newest ear and tail set. I love this one. I got a lot of squeaky toys. Yeah, I think I broke this one from chewing it too hard. I think my puppy look, I would describe it as very cutesy. I do have some more like dark leather puppy things. If I'm feeling more aggressive as a puppy, then I can wear the black leather and the chain, and it kind of looks like I'm a vicious dog instead of just a cute little puppy. I decided to start posting on TikTok because I thought puppy videos would be cute. We started posting some of our daily puppy routines, and it kind of just took off. We've gotten a lot of negative comments online. Things like, you're an abomination to God, you need Jesus, this is
Well, some of those are warranted.
bestiality, this is disgusting, you need a therapist, you need help. I make it a point not to respond to any of those negative comments just because I know it's not worth it. Okay, so we are going to the pet store right now. We're gonna go finally get me my dog bed because I've been waiting for this forever.
Oh, she needs a dog bed. She doesn't have a dog bed yet? Get out there and get her a dog bed.
Feels like I can't wait.
I'm glad that they have masks on in the car by themselves. That's great. Oh my god.
This is amazing. It was a good day.
Yeah.
Very good day.
We got our dog bed! I'm so happy! Look, it looks great!
Yeah, it looks like a good bed.
It is. It's mine though.
Yeah, you can lay by my feet now.
You can't have it.
It's your bed.
It's mine.
I get a lot of enjoyment from seeing her act as a puppy, just kind of being silly and, you know.
Yeah, see, this is... Sometimes they, like, focus on, like, the dog person. But it's really this guy. It's really this guy that's the weird fucker. This is really the weird fucker. Right here. This dude. He's really the weirdo.
Petting her, giving her a lot of praise, it makes me happy.
I mean, I love him so much. He's my owner. He takes really good care of me, and he's absolutely sweet, compassionate, giving, and I just love him and I trust him completely. Just makes my little puppy heart happy.
I know that it looks weird from the outside, but you know, I feel like there's a lot more to it. What we do works for us.
Oh, there you go, everybody. There you go. I think that's the show. I think that's the nightcap. See you next time. Thank you for coming along. We'll see you next time. There are other Mondays to be had, and I will be there. Good night. Adios. Goodbye.